Hello, everyone, and welcome to the newest edition of this weekend's releases. And oh boy, folks, do I got quite the show for you tonight. For you see, it was a big weekend for movies. Huge weekend. What do we got? We got Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, the 14th movie in this series. Is this the final chapter? We'll find out tonight, folks. We have Lilo and Stitch, the live-action remake. Is it possible for them to break the curse, the Disney curse that was laid upon them by a witch upon an apple, only but this year with Snow White? We will find out tonight, everybody. But first, of course, we have to discuss another movie that came out. For you see, every week there is more than just what you think. Such movies as a surprise that we're going to start with, folks. A surprise by the name of The Last Rodeo. Yeehaw! That's me. Hey, what? Why are you guys playing the intro now? Why didn't you play it at the beginning? You didn't put it in the memo. Shut up, unnamed producer. Just cut to the review. The Last Rodeo follows the story of Joe Wainwright, an ex-legend in the sport of bull riding, who after a lifetime of rootin' tootin' a little too hard, ended up breaking his neck, forcing him to retire from the sport. But when unknown circumstances peek their ugly head, Joe Wainwright has no other choice but to have one last rodeo. And I gotta say, this movie, I went into it wanting to just laugh, not care. It was some stupid cowboy riding a bull by some dumb company called Angel Studio. This movie is awesome because it just reminds you, this is one of those movies where when you're just used to seeing bullshit and slop and crap and just color and movement and just lies and being spit in you just pay to go have fucking spit in your face every fucking week. It's really nice to just be reminded what a real movie is meant to be, because the whole thread of the movie is that Joe's beloved grandson, who's an up-and-rising baseball star, is very promising. He gets a brain tumor, very expensive, that nobody can pay for. This is what causes Joe, even though he's injured, even though he's old, he has to get back in the game. And it's just your classic redemption story, where he had to retire because he got hurt being stupid, so now he comes back when nobody believes in him, when all the odds are against him, but he has a reason so powerful, and it just makes it so good. It's like some anime shit. You're just watching him ride the bull, and the bull's doing backflips to slam him against a metal gate, and he's like, breaking his ribs, and he's convincing the doctor to let him, and the dude's just a shattered man by the end, and it's just so cool, and it's actually quite inspirational. Neil McDonough is really proving himself to me to be quite an exceptional actor, because time and time again, the dude is carrying his role. Not only him, but an all-star cast of people supporting him. Sarah Jones as his daughter Sally, a heartbroken woman trying to hold herself together as her son is dying and her father is signing up to do the same. Michael T. Williamson as his best friend Charlie, which Charlie is a really cool character because he's a friend that Joe gave up on. He comes back in his life, but this is where, because you see Angel Studios, you assume it's going to be a religious movie, which it is, but I'm happy to say it does not hit you over the head with it. Charlie is a religious man himself, and it just kind of naturally makes sense the way he wants to spread his faith to Joe, and it honestly makes sense when Joe regains his faith. And I gotta say, for the first time in my life, cowboys actually looked cool. All right, what a fun one that was, everybody. Can I get a yeehaw for this movie? Dear God. All right, let's get to the next movie and Lilo and Stitch follows the story of Lilo and Stitch, a beloved childhood tale of friendship, family, and no one being left behind. This is a very important movie for Disney after the failure of Snow White, for this was advertised as a new trend of completely accurate to source material Disney remakes. Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon next. Is this movie the hero we needed, or did Lilo and Stitch live long enough to become the villain? This movie is so weird to me because they advertised it as being, yeah, just the cartoon, but live action. Finally, what everyone has been asking for, whether for good or for bad, as what the fucking people want. Are we gonna give it to them? Kind of. For you see, this movie, for about half of it, is the Lilo and Stitch that we all know and what we probably were expecting based off what they advertised to us. But the weird thing about it is anything that felt like it was from the original movie didn't feel natural. It didn't feel like a real story. It felt like a weird, like a kid's play where they were all like standing on the wrong marker and the parent had to come and be like, no, stand there. And then the kid would just rush the fucking performance. There just didn't, there was no heart to it. There was no build up to it. It just felt so classic, like, oh, this is what you want? Well, here you go. But then also, you don't get what you want. You know, they cut the big shark guy out of the movie, whatever. They could have made the villain somebody else, which they actually did make it somebody else. Fucking dumbass idiot couldn't fucking voice act to save his life. Dude, I don't know what happened to Zach Galifianakis. He was beloved in The Hangover. He was in that, Dinner for Schmucks? Who's the schmuck now? Who's the fucking schmuck now? When we hear Jamba's voice, oh, and he goes from like this
to like this. My name is Zach Galifianakis. And I'm Zamba now, and I'm a bad guy too.
And it's kind of funny because in the beginning, it's pretty accurate. You know, when Stitch is escaping jail, I was with it. But then the second that motherfucker came up there and had the audacity to, and the thing about it is like, he wasn't doing a voice. He wasn't doing a character. He was doing bored, tired, didn't want to fucking be there, possibly drunk. What? And the guy who did Plinkly fucking was dancing in circles. It almost felt personal. The guy who did Plinkly did so fucking good compared to Zach Galifianakis. He was fucking dead on the ground, dude. And that's kind of why the final act of this movie falls apart so hard, is because you get it. They're kind of doing the Lilo and Stitch that we know and love. Whatever. You can't always make live action look as good as cartoons. It's just something you have to accept with the fucking medium. But when you have someone as terrible as Zach Galifianakis, who is also the main villain, and then you add, the portal guns, and then Zach Galifianakis, Stitches fight him. Zach Galifianakis, Jamba is beating Stitch's ass throughout the movie. And I thought Stitch is supposed to be some giant monster who's all cool, but he's not. He's just this soulless, lifeless, just dark, black hole-eyed stuffed animal. It wasn't the Stitch we know. He was so clean. He just looked like an animatronic. You know why? Because they want you to go to fucking Disneyland, and they want you to look at their dumbass oh, it looks just like the movie, right? Well, no, because the movie was based off of a fucking toy. You didn't even make it based off the cartoon. The way he moves, he would, I swear to God, go down to like 5 frames per second and turn blurry. He became an anomaly within the fucking reality of the movie because of how bad he was being animated. And spoiler alert, because guess what? You need a spoiler alert for this classic movie that we all know and love, because, Surfer Boy, he's barely in it. His grandma's in it now. Was she in the original? I don't fucking know, but she's a main character in this one. And now Nami just gives Lilo up. She just happily gives her up to the fucking adoption home. And she's like, yeah, like, I'm going to go be a marine biologist now because that's what I do, remember? And fucking, and it's such just like, and Bubbles, I might be remembering wrong. I thought it was a twist that he was with the fucking CIA or whatever, and that he was just pretending to be. It's like they just ruined the magic, dude. There's no such thing as Disney magic anymore. Whatever fucking fairy creature that they were siphoning the magic out of, it's dead. It's producing dust. There's no such thing as magic anymore, bro. We just live in real fucking life now. Hope you like it. Boo! Boo! Hiss! Hiss! Hey, fuck you! Fuck you! Calm down, come on now. You give him the world, JBUTT, you give him the world. All right, everyone, last but certainly not least, we have the final movie of the night, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. I thought the impossible mission was getting Tom Cruise to stop making these things. Huh? Yeah, we have fun here. We have fun. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning follows the story of Ethan Hunt, a story 30 plus years in the making. It all began with his first mission and ended with the last impossible. For you see, Gabriel the Ghost, an unknown force that is trying to take control of the Entity, a godlike AI that is smarter than any human, a supercomputer that could take over that could pass any firewall. Imagine the Terminator if he was real. Mission Impossible: The Reckoning. What is Ethan gonna do to get out of this one? Is this really the final chapter? Does this conclude a story that has taken nearly 4 decades to tell? No. Now, this movie is pretty insane because it definitely feels like a love letter to the Mission Impossible series as a whole. You know, like Fast and Furious, once a series that starts fairly serious has to keep outdoing itself 10, 12, 13, 14 times, it starts to become a caricature of what it originally was. You can't help but turn it into a Marvel-style movie when the stakes of the very first time is the world is at risk. So I definitely understand how fun and it feels fun. They know what they're doing, and they, just like Fast and Furious, they are having a ton of fun with it. And right off the bat, they're giving you what you want. People are ripping their faces off left and right. They got the music. They're showing the original cast. It's everything that you need out of a Mission Impossible. Tom Cruise looks right at the camera. I'm gonna need you to trust me one more time. It was like an angelic chorus in the theater I was in as we all together prayed, "We will, Tom, we will." And then the next 3 hours were a blur. For you see, this movie, as good as it starts, because I noticed something as I was watching. Anytime Gabriel in the current storyline that we were doing, where he's the ghost, he's trying to get the AI, Tom Cruise is trying to stop him. That was all fantastic. There was so many flashbacks. It was Inception. They were doing flashbacks within flashbacks within flashbacks. It was so insane that I didn't know what time period I was in. I didn't know what movie I was watching. Is this Mission Impossible 4? It's been 20 minutes of one flashback. It honestly started to feel like too much. My head was spinning as they're talking about 35 years worth of information in movies that they're cramping into 3 hours. And at first, it's fine. It's good. But it genuinely starts to become too much of a good thing. The Mission Impossible, they have the formula down. And from the beginning, you know this is a solid action movie, not taking itself too serious. This is exactly what we need in a summer blockbuster. But then it just keeps going and keeps going and it keeps going. And there's so many flashbacks and it breaks into the Matrix. And it becomes the Matrix. Ethan Hunt is Neo. And the entity is the Matrix around us. It's Mr. Smith. And Ethan has to sacrifice himself like Jesus in the end. And then he's reborn, just like in the fucking movies. And then my biggest issue with the movie is honestly that it was too damn long. There's no reason that we need a 3-hour final movie, which brings me to my next point. I don't know, they keep saying it's the final chapter. Oh, this is the final reckoning, the final chapter, the last impossible mission. This series ain't ending, folks. It's the final chapter of Chapter 1. Chapter 2 is going to start in the next 5 or 6 years. We all know it. Only one guy from the original crew died, and they made such a big deal. They spent like 2 hours of the 3 hours out of the movie mourning his death. Long overdue spoiler alert, folks. And honest, the movie ends with Ethan literally being handed the power of God. They say that this entity is God. It can control the entire world if it wanted to. The whole threat is that the entity is about to nuke the entire world because it can take over everything. It's smarter than everyone except for Ethan Hunt. And you expect me to just believe that it's over? They literally, the entire crew that's all alive, look at each other, give each other that little wink at the end, that little, you know this shit ain't over. Dun, 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 dun. And you tell unnamed producer if he ever fucking snaps at me again, I'm breaking his kneecaps. Do you want to? Oh wait, we're on. Okay. Hey everyone, what a show it has been tonight. You know, a lot of mixed emotions today, I must say. Isn't that right, everybody? Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's right, folks. So, it seems pretty obvious that the two choices between the winner tonight are gonna, obviously, it's such a big weekend with releases. What could the winner be? I think it could be a surprise because that's right, everybody. The winner of this weekend's release is none other than the legend coming to return his title, The Last Rodeo. That's right. Come here, Last Rodeo. Everybody. Yeah, woo, woo. Come here, Last Rodeo. Come grab your award. You win this weekend's release, not only for your tight storytelling, your actual good character writing, your tense scenes that actually lead to emotion. Make a grown man cry in that theater. So everybody, give a round of applause to the Last Rodeo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thank you, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Thank you.